again, ladies and gentlemen, it's Better here from the New Plat, along with another replay from World of Tanks. This time I'm in my T-150 and we are battling on Sand River. And as you can see by the paint I put on this thing, I kind of like it. I was reintroduced to it by one of my clan members who just kicks all sorts of ass on it, really. And he was so awesome at it that I thought, maybe it's the tank. Maybe I'd better get into it. So here I am, battling away, trying to get my skill up in it. And I'm actually doing okay so far. If you can see the XVM stats on the left and right of the team names, they show you your, I think it's the efficiency rating in the particular tank you're driving in. And so 56 is basically out of 100, which means that I'm better than average, I bet, maybe. I'm not sure. So in this battle we didn't have too many medium tanks, so I've come to take a position which you would normally have a medium tank with good gun depression in. Obviously this isn't a medium and it also doesn't have good gun depression, but it's still a fairly dominant part of the map when you're trying to defend Sand River. A lot of my teammates are sort of a bit spread out. We're not too focused on either end. In fact, you could say the western side where the AMX ELC biz is fairly sparsely populated. There's nobody out there at all now that he's dead. We've got E25 and Hellcat back defending from the south, and then everybody else is pushed into the Sand River itself and it's heading over to the east. So I've decided to push forward and try to hold this corner against anybody charging down. It's a little bit of a risky play because the IS is obviously a whole tier heavier than me, but one good thing about the T-150 is its cheek armor is really good, and it's got a reasonable rate of fire, although I managed to miss my shot there. So as long as you can angle your armor, you can actually fight against tier higher heavy tanks relatively effectively, so long as they're not, you know, decent players. So this is an average player probably. So, you know, you can back yourself to get your angling right, use your armor, and pen when you need to. And it's decent alpha too, 337 damage, is totally worthwhile. Up against the tier 7 tank in particular. And you can see that the gun mantlet's pretty strong, the cheeks are strong. I'm just going to try and take shots at this E25 here because E25 as an OP TD is quite a dangerous tank to have left around, plus basically doing scouting for everybody and spotting, so trying to get rid of him and the IS. If I could do that, that would be basically GG, well done, no matter what else happened in the battle really. Taking out two tier higher tanks and probably the two most dangerous vehicles, if not players, in the battle. But at the moment they're not pushing forward to engage me, so I'm just going to pull back a little bit and see what I can do to help the people behind me, because the Comet has been doing a good job back there, and we're sort of running out of tanks. We're still dominant in terms of kills, 8-7, and we're taking good chunks of their hit points away, but we've lost a bunch ourselves. And here comes a rather unfortunate bounce just off the top of the turret that but I mean, I think that's more to do with the tank that I was shooting at than the gun or the aiming. Maybe the aiming, but the gun itself would normally pin. It's just that's a fairly heavily armoured part of a tank, shot at an angle up at it, so chances of bouncing is fairly high. Just pulling back now because, again, because we were down on hit points, we've sort of lost the momentum we had really, and so we need to try and hold these positions again now. Other than one medium tank on the team, we're all down to TDs I think now basically, so I'm going to have to be a scout heavy tank as much as you can in the T-150. And here's, I think this is pretty crucial sometimes, is to try and get rid of the scouts if you can, but it's a really risky play for me here. Because I don't have the gun depression to really fight on that ridge. I had to come so far up that the Dickomax got a shot at me, and their artillery, that's probably the FE, it isn't the effect FE, there's only one artillery. The V304 shooting at me, the rate of fire on that thing, the accuracy is so good that the chances of them taking me out are pretty high. But again, the two biggest threats, the E-25 and the IS, still haven't been dealt with, so they're still back there. There's a Tiger 1 over at the eastern side, but well, I don't know, the Tiger doesn't scare me for some reason. Its armour is so flat that most tanks shooting at it, you know, in a fair tier for tier matchup, should be able to pin and do damage. And it's got a good rate of fire, and it's really accurate. It does decent alpha, but I don't know, it just doesn't have the fear factor that an IS would in the hands of a decent player. I kind of think actually maybe the Tiger lines, because all three of them aren't that great, the Tiger P, Tiger 1, Tiger 2, maybe it needs a slight buff somehow, but I don't know how you would buff it really. I mean, the problem is the design of them flat armor as much as anything, so maybe they need to be down a tier and debuffed a little bit, I don't know. Anyway, we're still losing tanks like crazy here. I'm going to have to take a quick snapshot on this Comet because he's coming through, and then I'm going to have to turn because an E-25 is coming in. E-25 fortunately focuses on the FV rather than on me, which is the actual danger tank, and rams him, loses a bunch of his health, which makes him an easy kill. Picking up my third kill for the battle, and that's making things look a little bit better, but hit points wise we're still down quite a bit now because we've only got 2 vehicles to their 5. And they've got 2 T-7 heavies, they've got a Dicker Max sitting right in front of me. I'm just going to try and charge in on him because I need to push out of the place that I'm in, otherwise I'll get flanked and shot in the rear from the IS. Slight ram, which apparently does more damage to me than it does to the Dicker Max. And now I'm in a slightly vulnerable position again because I'm out in the open 1, and 2, FV304 knows where I am and can just drop shells on me all day. So what I decided to do at this point is to push forward and try and take on the FV304. I figure, as always, getting RNG out of a battle as much as possible is a good idea. I have to wiggle to try and avoid the IS, which I managed to do. And now, not only do I have to try and get rid of the RNG by killing the V304, but I also have to try and avoid the IS and the Tiger, which is the other heavy. There's the FV's great camo rating, manages to not get spotted till I'm really close to it, and now I've got to turn, try and fight 3 tanks. Now, I make a couple of misplays here, I think. I think really, looking at the situation, I've got... No, I probably don't have enough health to carry against 2 T-7 heavies, but I can pick up... Yeah, I think at that point I should have been pulling back a little bit further maybe. But there's not much time left. I figure I'll try and go in and take the IS out, which I do successfully. And then what I need to do here, and this is where I make some mistakes, is I need to get behind the rocks. The VK is just going to shoot HE at me, so it doesn't matter if he doesn't pin, and whiffing that shot into the rocks, bad move. So I'm pulling back here, and I should have been pulling forward. I should have been going into the rocks to try and save my health. But still, I did as best as I could, and up against 2 T-7s and a scout at the end, I think I did okay. Getting Top Gun, Mastery Badge, High Caliber as well. Top of my team by miles on damage and XP. I guess that's just part of the course when you lose. And then looking at the profitability, 46,000, not too bad. 1900 base XP, also pretty good. So thanks for watching everybody. It's Peter from the New Plat saying hopefully I'll see you either on the battlefield or at the next replay.